invest in a sales team, invest in sales, invest in yourself to get better at sales. Like, stop sitting back and waiting. Zach, I see you keep unmuting.
Man, yeah, I really want to hop in. I really want to hop in there. You're right. So we're not going to name names, obviously, but this happened several times. So it's not even, I couldn't even name just one name if I wanted, but because we own Advertis, and Advertis is a white label marketing agency that is partnered with over 250, 300 now, 300 agencies.
311 today, 311.
That's crazy.
Here in the US.
That's crazy. 311 agencies across the United States. Even our own agency partners who work with us and white label Advertis for, you know, SEO, for paid ads, for web dev. Even they have clients that are currently on retainer, say for a brand new website, and they'll come to them and they'll say, hey, I want to do SEO for my website. I know my website doesn't rank really well. You guys did a great job creating a beautiful looking website. I want to now invest whatever needs to be invested so that my website ranks well for my business. And that's what the client says to one of our agency partners. And then our agency partner, because they have no sales system, no process, and they only rely on what Ozzy's saying is those direct, low-hanging fruit referrals.
Right in the face.
They say, well, sorry, we can't do that. Have a good day. And Ozzy and I are just sitting there with their mouths dropped open, like, you just passed up minimum $30K a year in net new annual revenue. Minimum, by the way, because you could have upsold them. You built this whole beautiful website. This agency could have upsold them. True story, could have upsold them into a consistent SEO services. Nothing crazy.
Not including content creation, additional services off of that. Like,
yes. Yeah, none of that stuff. Just not even talking about Google Business Profile or like local SEO, just on their website, getting it to rank just a little bit better. And they could have turned that into a year-long retainer that would have resulted in 30K net new revenue for them for that year. And they didn't even have to have someone in-house for it because Advertis is their white label partner. So Advertis does white label SEO, right? And so Advertis could have done it for them, but they just
their margin on that project would have been much higher than their traditional service model.
Yes, I guarantee it. I guarantee that what their profit margin on the website probably was like what 20 or 30%, but their profit margin on SEO would have been like 60 or 70%, just to keep it. But they had no process for adding it to the pipeline, for the inbound sale. They had no process for like working that lead, just because it wasn't a website. It wasn't their main bread and butter.
And what hurt even more is that they didn't communicate it to us as their partners. So in this case, this is why it's important to have a partner that can do the services that you don't do in-house, or that you don't really necessarily do all the time in-house. So this is a great example, because like when we partner with an agency, we come in not only to do the work. That's like not even half of the project of what we're doing. We actually come in to help them sell it. We actually come in to help them educate the client. So actually make that process easier and to help them upsell it, yada, yada, yada. And to Zach's point, having a lack of a sales process not only hurts you from net new revenue, but even in retention, because oftentimes, when your client is, say you're running, programmatic ads along with, you're doing any kind of ad campaign, it's not performing the way that you had hoped and you strategize, you want to pivot. And oftentimes these agencies, like, they will pivot, or they'll just sit back and be like, well, it just didn't work. It's like, no, you can't do that.
Didn't work out. I sent them an invoice. What more do you want from me? Did you follow up? Did you call them? Did you email them? Did you text them? Did you cross-sell them? Did you try to downsell them? It didn't work out this month. Did you reach out the following month? No, it's like, oh my goodness, leaving money on the table. But the agencies that do well are the agencies that have a sales process down.
Yes,
And
precisely.
oftentimes just because the deal didn't work out in that moment this week, it doesn't mean that the deal's never going to work out.
Oh yeah. Well, and I'll do everyone here a favor. I will give you a glimpse into how we do sales in Advertis, because we go to market is we have a top of funnel pipeline. So right, we use HubSpot, and we have multiple pipelines within HubSpot. And within that first pipeline, we're looking at agency partnerships. And then we know when we partner with an agency, they go out and resell for us. So that they go into a different pipeline after they become a partner. It's called an agency client pipeline. Our goal is to fill that, and we literally have a sales team specific for each pipeline. And so as we grow that, what happens is when a deal becomes inactive, we move them to what's called a reactivation pipeline within the CRM. Then when we're having our dry months, say Q4 can get a little dry because it's the holidays, no one is really actively going out and trying to sell their rear ends off, trying to make that revenue up. So what happens is, our partner success managers, they come in, they say, hey, we got these deals we wrote this year. Our team is actively writing, anywhere from $200,000 to $700,000 in revenue every single month. So they go back to that reactivation pipeline. They're like, what can we hash out here? And they go start following up. Then they work their inactive agencies. They work the reactivation pipeline. They work their funnels, essentially. We still have top of funnel running in the background. There's an entire process when it comes to sales. And if your agency doesn't have sales, you're really setting yourself up for failure. You need it. When we first started our sales team, straight commission only. And we literally made the commission so high. And I come in with my sales background. I've been in sales for over a decade now, in different industries, and just kind of train them and so forth. You have to invest in that. But as an owner of an agency, that's your job. So that's kind of what you're supposed to do. But all that to say, like the agencies who are seen the most success in 2025, from my perspective, are the agencies that are focused on, being able to pivot and planning for success, having the ability to understand their churn and understand when and why it's important to move, and why that matters on the timing, right? Timing is everything in business. Third is having a sales process. And, I skipped over mitigating risk, but having a sales process that you can basically rely on as net new income coming in the door. And then fourth would be, I'm just going to go back to mitigating risk.